Do you remember in the very first The Santa Claus movie with Tim Allen, when Tim Allen goes to the North Pole and he gets situated in Santa Claus's bedroom, and it's him and the little elf Judy, and Tim Allen or Scott Calvin in the movie is standing in the bedroom window observing the North Pole, and he turns and he looks at Judy and he says, I see all this, but I still don't believe it. And she looks at him and she says, you're missing the point. Seeing isn't believing. Believing is seeing. And to me, I love what Judy said right there because it's so true. What she's basically saying is that it's faith and belief that create the evidence, not the other way around. Hebrews 11:1 basically says that faith is the substance of things hoped for, evidence of things not seen. See, as human beings, we are constantly having a difficult time believing that something that is greater than us and larger than us is a possibility. Or when we get into a hole in life, we can't see a way out of it because no evidence around us is telling us it's possible. Or when we have a dream of something that seems larger than what we could possibly imagine, we can't see the miracle that we can create it or that it's something that we can actually do. So what's funny to me is that every single day in our lives, we have faith and belief in things that we cannot control or see. So for instance, when you sit into a chair, do you not have faith that it's going to hold you up? I bet you do. And when you turn on the radio, do you not have faith that your favorite song is going to come out when you tune into your favorite radio station, even though you can't see the radio waves? You don't know that they're right in front of you. Like you can't observe them, but you have full faith that when you turn into your radio station, that music is going to come out. When you turn on YouTube, when you open YouTube from your mobile device, a Wi-Fi signal is sending the data and transmitting it to your mobile phone so that when you open YouTube and push play, you have faith and you believe that a video is going to play for you. Even though you have no idea how it's happening, you don't know the ins and outs, you can't see the signal that is being received from your phone in order to play the video, but you have the faith that these things are happening. Something that kind of seemed like miracles to me. I mean, these radio waves and this Wi-Fi signal and everything is in front of us all the time, but we can't see it. But we have faith and we know that they're real. When you flip on a light switch, you have faith that a light is going to turn on. Even though you have no idea how that's happening, you may not understand the ins and outs unless you're an electrician, but we have faith in things all the time that we don't understand, that we cannot see, that we have no control over. Yet when it comes to our own personal lives, we have a very difficult time understanding certain things without seeing the evidence that they're true. So, for example, let's use a guy named Bob. I don't know why I just said Bob, but let's use Bob. Let's say, unfortunately, Bob just lost his job and he's feeling really down. And he's looking at his bank account, he's seeing the deficit, and he's not even sure if he can pay next month's rent. And it's really weighing on him. And right now, Bob is coming from a place of lack of limitation, not just because of his situation, but because of the way he's thinking about himself. Bob is telling himself that he's this guy that just always goes through struggles, that he's this guy that these things just happen to, that he's just not good enough, that he feels devalued, that he feels broke, like he knows he's broke, and he keeps talking about it, and he keeps telling himself that that is his current reality. And over and over and over, what Bob is doing is he's creating a belief system, and his thoughts are reflecting that belief system to where his emotions are now reflecting that. So his emotions are the driving force. So now when Bob is applying for a job, he's doing it from a place of desperation. The jobs that he's looking for, he's looking at the ones that he just feels really unqualified for. And it's really going to hinder his ability to get him out of this current situation because Bob is capping his potential because of his current thoughts and beliefs. And even when he goes into a job interview, he's going into it thinking he's not going to get it. And he's not having the confidence in the job interview for them to want to even hire him. And the issues just keep going on and on. It's like a hamster wheel. They just keep going until something changes. But what if something did change? What if Bob decided to change his mental state? What if Bob decided to change his beliefs and his thoughts about how he feels about himself? What if Bob started valuing himself? What if Bob started saying, I am worthy of a great job. I'm the perfect person that someone would want to hire because I'm reliable and I'm responsible. just because something happened to Bob doesn't mean it needs to be his current state of his reality. It doesn't mean that it needs to be the identity of who he is. All Bob has to do is look at his current situation and say that this is not where I'm staying. This is not who I am. I am worthy of something better. So when Bob goes to look for jobs, now he's looking for jobs that, he's not limiting himself to. He's not worried about the skill sets or the qualifications. He has faith that he is the right fit for any job, and he's applying with confidence. He's going into it not from a state of desperation, but a state of assumption that he knows he is worthy of getting the job. And he's going into the interviews with the same mindset, that same confidence. And people are seeing that in the interviews. Who wouldn't want to hire someone that has the skill sets, believes in their skill sets, has the qualifications, even if they're lacking a little bit, but you see that they're responsible, you see the confidence, and you see the passion. And that's what happens when you have that kind of drive and that kind of skill set and that kind of want. And that is a completely different mindset to be in than where Bob was currently with the person who's me and coming from this place of feeling devalued and not worthy. It's a completely different situation, which opens up a whole new world of possibilities for you. Because now when Bob changed his mindset, he was starting to see jobs that matched his skill set. He was observing things that weren't there before because he wasn't in the mental mindset to actually be looking for them because he didn't think it was worthy of them. Opportunities started coming into Bob's presence. He was meeting people that could possibly have provided him an opportunity for a job that maybe he wouldn't have even shook the hands of that person because he didn't feel worthy enough to even meet people because he didn't want to be judged or looked down upon because of how he felt about himself. See, when you change your state of mind and you change your belief system, your whole world opens up to opportunities. And it doesn't have to be something as drastic as what Bob's going through. It could be something as simple as something that you want to change in your life, or an identity of something that you want to become, or maybe it's something that you want to pursue. And I have a very quick story that I'm telling you blew my mind. Like, I got the evidence after I got the assumption of the identity, and I could not believe what happened. I mean, the synchronicities were just out of control. So real quick, I have been dabbling into learning more about real estate investing, and I have been fascinated by it. And everybody around me, I mean, it seems that way, but I think I've been looking for the observation of this world to show me, people that I might be able to network with and help me learn more about this. It seems like a lot of people around me are getting into real estate or have a real estate license or, do mortgages or different things like that. And so I was like, I'm really interested in this. So I started thinking about what it would be like to be a real estate investor, assuming the identity of a real estate investor, learning more about what the skill sets, what kind of mindset, what kind of personality they have to have, that risk-taking personality, that confidence. And so I started assuming that type of identity a little bit just to see, what would it be like? Because I'm fascinated by it. And so I started educating myself, and I'm watching YouTube videos and reading books. And when I'm at the gym, I like to listen to things that educate me, because I feel like I absorb more information when I'm moving. And so I put on this, I think it was Bedros Keuilian podcast, phenomenal. But it was last Monday, and it was the very first day I had been part of this podcast or had listened to it. And he had this guy, Pace, I believe it was Pace Morby, who's a big time real estate investor. And Pace was telling his story about when he first got into real estate and the first investment that he made, and he had help from a mentor. And anyway, the whole story revolved around him realizing that the first investment opportunity he got was because he came from a place of wanting to help that person, not trying to get the best deal, not trying to, swindle them, but because he came from a place of wanting to help. He noticed that was the recipe. That was the recipe for success, and that's what he has been, prideful with for the rest of the time that he's been successful, is always coming from a place of help. How can I help this person? And I thought it was phenomenal. I absolutely loved it. But I learned a lot. He taught so much on that episode. Anyway, going a couple days later, I, in my day job as, a marketing manager, we go on this dinner cruise, and we have a bunch of different clients from all over. And I get assigned to this table. And as soon as I'm walking up to this table, there's this absolutely adorable couple that's sitting there. And for some reason, I could almost feel their energy. I could just tell that they're going to be so pleasant. You just kind of get a feeling right away sometimes. Anyway, I sit down and I meet these two individuals, and they are adorable. I absolutely love them. And as I'm talking with them, and it felt so natural, we had a great conversation to start introducing ourselves. Come to find out that they're in real estate investing and they're flippers. And they're also complete opposites. The gentleman is in construction. The woman is actually the one who identifies the opportunities and flips the houses, and he fixes them up. And they are just adorable. I absolutely love them. Anyway, I'm talking with them, and she's telling me about the story of her first flip. And she's telling it to me, and it almost sounded exactly like the story that Pace said. And part of her story was how, instead of trying to find the best deal with this person, because she didn't think it was going to be possible with how much she was willing to invest, she was coming from a place of, how can I help you? Is there anything else I can help you with, even if this opportunity doesn't go through? And that was her first flip. And she realized that that person felt so comfortable with her because of that is why she was able to make her first investment, her first investment, to be able to flip a house. And it started the whole process, which was crazy because everything that she was saying, I knew nothing about just a couple days before that. But because of that podcast on Monday, I was resonating. I understand the verbiage of everything that she was saying. And it sounded so familiar to Pace's story. I was like, whoa, that's crazy what you just said. I've heard this. Like, I heard something very similar to this. And her story was so beautiful, and it was so different than Pace's, but the outcome was very similar, that I was like, look, you got to understand, like, I was listening to a podcast and I heard the story, and I started telling the story that Pace said about his first flip, and it resonated. She's like, I know exactly who you're talking about. You're talking about Pace. I was like, yes, I'm talking about Pace. And I couldn't believe it. The thing is that those people were put right in front of me because I learned so much that night. And I got such a great opportunity to speak with them. They're such amazing people. But the thing is that if I didn't listen to that podcast on Monday, I wouldn't have identified anything as far as an opportunity of the things that she was saying, because I wouldn't have been prepared for it. I wouldn't have seen it as the same opportunity. But that episode of Bedros Keuilian that I had never listened to before, and it just popped up on my YouTube, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. He's got a guest speaker on there. It's in real estate investing. Let me listen to it. It created the atmosphere. It created the environment that was needed for that evening to become even that more special for both of us. It was phenomenal. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, when we ask to be open to receiving miracles, it doesn't just have to do with money. It can be anything. And that to me was a miracle, because those people were put in front of me for a reason. That story that I heard on Monday, to be able to use that information to connect with that couple, and to really just have that back and forth conversation. We're both feeding each other knowledge, and just a good networking time, and a good conversation. I mean, man, that was a miracle to me. I left there thinking, like, that was a synchronization. That was an opportunity. That was not a mistake what happened tonight. And what's really interesting is when you open your mind to receiving miracles, and you open your mind to receiving opportunities, to things that you want to accomplish in this life, I promise you, they will come in ways that you least expect it. And they will come in ways that are even better than you can expect it. And when they happen, it'll make you feel like you're on top of the world, because it was specifically placed for you and your growth and who you're supposed to become in this life. And I was so thankful for that opportunity. And I love the growth that I am getting just from learning about this real estate investing and the opportunities that could be coming in the future. And I'm not worried about the path of getting there. I'm not worried about what the outcome is looking like. I'm enjoying the journey. I'm enjoying the people I'm meeting. And that's what it's all about. The end result is the end result. But the things that happen in the meantime are because you have changed your mind to be open, and you have changed your belief systems to tell yourself that you are worthy. And I think coming from a place where we have faith and belief, and even in the things that we don't understand or cannot see, I could not have seen that path taking place. I couldn't even have created that on my own if I wanted to. I mean, it was impressive. And I love it. I love it so much. And because I am starting to see the results of my life, I want that for you. So guys, I hope you can see how just changing your mindset and being open to opportunities and not worrying about the physical evidence you need to have faith and assume that things are going to happen for you, and that you can assume the identity of something that you want, assume it's already happened for you because God wants that for you. It'll absolutely change your life, and you'll be so thankful that you changed your mindset and that you had faith in the things that you cannot see because God has already created them for you.